Alright guys, welcome back again to the channel. So there have been a couple of things happening right now that I wanted to let you guys know, and one of them is the fact that the NFF's president Alhaji Ibrahim Gusau has now come out to give his assessment of the friendlies that we've played recently, the Unity Cup games, the Russia friendly, and the assessment of the players, or the responsibilities that was given to the coach Eric Chelle, to meet up as regards these games. Of course, we know that part of NFF's direction or directive to coach Eric Chelle is to actually include a lot of home-based players. The quota system, not include a lot, but actually to include at least between 1 and 3 players from the home base. But Chelle actually exceeded that expectation, inviting somewhere around 10 home base players, and that single act in itself has seen Chelle get the love, or receive the love, from a lot of stakeholders, ex-internationals, not to mention the home base players who have now started to believe in themselves, in their hearts, that they could actually get called up by the coach, because he seems to be inviting a lot of local players. But again, back to the NFF's president and what he has recently said. He gave assessment concerning the players, what's it called, Siri Desas, Tulu Arokodare, Crisanto Suche, a couple of all of the guys, especially the new guys who had just come in to make their debut, and the guys who already made their debut but hadn't really, had the chance to show themselves. For example, Tolu Kodare and Desas. So in his assessment, Gusau said, I have some conversations with Coach Eric Chelle, and I could see that he was pleased with the opportunities that the tournament in London, that's the Unity Cup, that we won, and the friendly match with Russia that we drew, provided for him and his assistants. Apart from the regulars that we already know what they are capable of, the tournament in London afforded us the opportunity to see players like Benjamin Frederick, Felix Agu, Crisanto Zuchi, and Igor Ogu. We saw more of Cyril Desas. The home-based professionals, Papa Daniel, Mustafa, Ifanyo, Onyebuchi, Collins, Ogueze, did not fare badly either. And then he continues, in Russia we saw more of Uche, and we saw Tulu Arokodare score with Pocha's goal. Goalkeeper Maduga Okoye was also excellent on his return, and Captain Ekong held the defense unit well. Now we have options in defense, midfield, and the attack, and I am quite satisfied with the team's output in the 3 matches. So that's the NFF's president's submission on the recent games. Of course, when those friendlies ended, there was a little bit of, uncertainty about what the NFF would actually think about, giving the result, because it wasn't 100% record or perfect record from Coach Eric Chelle, because obviously the directive is always to go and win every game, even though it's impossible to actually win every game. But with the Nigerian Super Eagles and with that hot seat, if you're seated there, you're always expected to win every game. So if you don't win game, if you draw game or you lose game, then there's a question of whether your job is at stake or your job is in danger. So, but with the NFF boss coming out to give this statement, it shows that the federation is really happy with Coach Eric Chelle's performance in the last 3 games. Even though there's still a lot of improvement that needs to be made, especially when we look at the last game against Russia, in terms of how we played, in terms of the expectation from the federation, the expectation from the coach himself, the expectation from Nigerians. They were not met, not at all, not in the style that we played, not in our possessive football, not in our attacking prowess, not even in our defensive abilities. So there were a lot of questions, asked regarding that match. But the NFF are happy with that, which is like the most important thing, as far as Coach Eric Shaw is concerned, because that means that his job is intact and he still has their support and backing to go on and continue what he's doing, which is, obviously trying to improve the squad, seeking for more new professionals to add equality and depth to the different departments. Because at the end of the day, the target is actually qualifying the Super Eagles to the World Cup. That's like the most important target right now for the NFF, for Nigerians, for Coach Eric Shell himself. He knows this is the target for him. Anything less than that, then obviously his contract or his job is in question. And just to look at the qualifiers right now, as you can see on the screen, we have already 13 countries or 13 nations who have qualified for the World Cup 2026. Mexico, USA, Canada, these are the three countries that are hosting the World Cup next year. So by default, they have an automatic qualification, right? And then we have Japan, Iran, we have Uzbekistan. I think this is the first time they are qualifying. We have Jordan, also their first time. Republic of Korea, Australia, Argentina also qualified. Brazil qualified as well already, and then we have Ecuador. So these are the 13 teams that have qualified. It's still very open. We have 35 teams remaining to grab the 35 slots right now. And out of these 35 slots remaining, 9 or 10, let me say 10 are teams from Africa, 9 from different groups, and then 1 qualifying via playoffs. So it's really tight. It's really tight. When you look at it, we have the opportunity, or we had the opportunity to get a head start and lead our groups. But unfortunately, our first few games in the qualifiers of the World Cup were shamble, were complete lack of good performances. Although, Osimhen not playing in some of those games was probably one of the biggest setbacks that we had that actually made us to not get the result in those games. But right now we still have a shot, even though it's really slim. In our group, we sit in fourth position with 7 points. South Africa top the group C with 13 points after 6 games. And then the question, because I've had a lot of questions, as people asking me, when is the South African 3 points going to be deduced? When is it going to be removed? But the truth is, no one actually knows. From the look of things, it might happen before the next World Cup qualifying series, which comes up in September. But to give a clearer explanation to it, the NFF's Director of Communication, in the person of Ademola Olajire, came out recently to talk about that with sports journalists. And what he said in summary is that the NFF don't know yet when these 3 points will be deduced from South Africa, but that what they do know is that they're actually still pushing on it. They're pushing it because it's rightfully what should happen. South Africa breached the rule by fielding an ineligible player for the Lesotho game. But at the end of the day, FIFA are the ones that will decide what to do and when to do it. So I think what we should focus right now as a team is to make sure that when next we have the opportunity to play in the World Cup qualifying series, which comes up in September, we ensure that we get the maximum points from any team that comes in front of us, including South Africa, because we have to beat them to qualify.